Satnam, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jai Gobind. This is your channel for grace. Thank you guys so much for being here live, and thank you those of you that are watching the replay. This is our weekly astrology broadcast, so I'm going to go over the astrology of the week and also do an Akashic reading and intuitive reading for the energy of the week for everyone that's watching and everyone that is watching the replay. You're included in the energy of this reading. So excited to be here and be back again after a kind of intense new moon in Scorpio. So we are on our way to a full moon. This is kind of like the interim week in between the new moon and the full moon. So the moon is waxing crescent. That's kind of the phase that it's in. So everything that was seeded, planted, brought into intention on that new moon in Scorpio is now beginning to grow. Those seeds are beginning to grow. So we can feel that energy moving through this week. And we'll talk a little bit more about some of the other aspects that are really important. Fundamentally, we are in Sagittarius season now. So we did have that new moon in Scorpio, and then we went directly into Sag. And so the energy has shifted in that sense between last week and this week. And so, I don't know, I'm curious as to how you guys are feeling that shift just within yourself. So before we dive into the astrology, and I will show you the charts on the screen, I do want to say, thank you again for being here. Thank you for being a part of this community. I'd like to invite you into our private community space, which is held on Mighty Networks. Our network is called Channel for Grace, and the free space is the global community. We are also going to be hosting, Ashley and I, a 5-day Akashic healing chamber. And I do this every year in December. It's just the time to kind of settle into our little cocoon, our little nest as we prepare to move into the new year. And it's a really good time to check in with like where you're at. It's like the closing of a year, the beginning of a new energy. And in this 5-day healing chamber, we're going to guide you through Akashic journeys. We're going to do long distance Reiki. We are going to do sound healing, sound bath, and tune into what is the message for us for the closing of the year and the beginning of the new year. And we'll be doing readings for, the collective, for the group, but it's all free. So come join us. It is held in our meditation hub space, which is also, once you create an account, if you are not in our Mighty Networks, you create an account and you're automatically added. You just have to go find those events and RSVP to them. But I will be sending out an invitation email very soon regarding the Akashic Healing Chamber. And we're also going to focus on giving you a taste of what the Moon Goddess training is all about, because all of the activities that we're going to do in this Akashic Healing Chamber are things that we experience, are things that we learn how to lead and guide, are things that you get to understand about yourself when you take the program, the Moon Goddess training. And so it'll be a little bit of a diving into what the Moon Goddess training is really about. Like, what do we do in the Moon Goddess training? And 2026 is coming up, so Ashley and I will be hosting some free Q&A sessions to talk about the training. If you're interested for joining us next year, and if you have no idea what it is, go to my website, channelforgrace.com, click on Moon Goddess Training, and look at all of the information. It's a year-long program, 3 different levels. You become certified in reading the Akashic records, but that's literally, even though that's the culmination, it's only like one little piece of all of the things that we learn. It's an initiatic path. So to fully live aligned by design, which is also a new offering that we have available that I want to invite you guys to check out on my website. If you're wanting to be guided through. Like a lot of people have asked me like, okay, so what's next? You know, once I get like a reading with you, like how do I keep working with this? Because basically all readings end with, okay, now you need to integrate this energy, this information into your life. And to be guided through that is really nice. If you don't want to do the Moon Goddess training, but you want a really personalized plan to help you understand who you are from all the perspectives, including astrology, gene keys, human design, in a 10-session, 6-month experience with Ashley and I, then check out the program Aligned by Design. I'm also going to be doing a sale on my human design maps. This week, I'll be sending out an email for that. So please be on the lookout for the discount link. I'm going to do half off of the human design maps without a 30-minute session. But if you want to get your map, it'll be half off this week. And I will put all the details about that out soon. Thank you for letting me share all of that. Let me say hi to everybody that is here in the chat. Hello, Linda. Welcome in. Hello, Anita. Good to see you. Kate. Good to see you. Lucia. Welcome in. Trina. Jeanette. If you are watching live, say hi in the chat. I absolutely love the live interaction. It does so much for me to know that you guys are here and know that you are enjoying the content. So, this week, we are covering the astrology for Monday, November 24th through Sunday, November 30th. So for the rest of November, next week, we'll begin with December. And boom, there it is. The last month of the year. This year has gone by so fast. It's insane. So let's just dive right into the charts. So this is the current astrology transits that are happening right now that you're seeing on the screen. So we've got the sun at 3 degrees of Sagittarius. And this is on the 34th gene key. So I am going to share the gene key information. So the 34th gene key, which is the kind of the overarching theme of until Thursday, is the shadow of force, the gift of strength, and the city of majesty. And so essentially right now we're learning how to like be in our radiance instead of forcing things to happen. It's called the gate of power, the beauty of the beast, and it's part of the codon ring of destiny, which states that, you know, it is through this ring of destiny that the two great forces of evolution and involution come together. Human destiny is caught between the polarity of these two gene keys, with the 34th representing the human urge to evolve and become more, and the 43rd representing the divine urge to involve and dive down into the world of form. The ring of destiny, in the ring of destiny, the epiphany of the higher planes encounters and infuses with the majestic of the body on the lower planes. The result is pure fusion as spirit enters matter and imbues it with divinity. The secret of this codon ring is the secret of timing. And down through the ages, it has whispered a great truth into the ears of those whose insight is developed enough to hear it. Life is a mystery in which chance and love are dancing together. Richard Rudd also describes this energy as the difference between the shadow and the gift is summed up in one of the sweetest pieces of wisdom ever uttered by any human being. This one is from a Chinese sage, Chuang Tzu, obviously an old friend of Yoda. Take these words deeply. Easy is right. Wow. What do you think of that? Because that is the energy that we are being inviting into this week. Are you embodying that? Or are you forcing? Because if you're forcing, then you're in the shadow expression. And there's no judgment either way. But you might feel a little lighter, a little bit more expansive if you're in the gift of strength. If you're tuning into, you know, what is my real embodiment here? You know, what is my real purpose here? Hello, Salty Mama. Welcome in. So here we are. November 24th. And today we are having a very strong and powerful transit. And it is that of Mars, exactly at 14 degrees, making a T-square to the nodes. So anytime a planet makes a T-square to the nodes, we're talking about a checkpoint, a karmic checkpoint. Think of it as you're sitting at a crossroads. This is a little bit like Two of Swords energy, where you're looking back and seeing how far you've come. You're at the midpoint of something. And you're also looking forward and seeing, where it is that you're being directed towards. So right now, today is, this week begins with a very important checkpoint. Where are you at? How far have you come? Where are you going? And not only that, it's Mars, which is action. What action are you going to take to go that direction? This can also be a little bit of a wake-up call if you're not living in alignment, and how to readjust your path so that you are back in alignment. So that's kind of a big deal. It's really strong, Today also, we have another really beautiful aspect though, and it is Mercury and Venus making a conjunction on the Centaurus stargates. And the Centaurus stargates is all about, it's a shamanic frequency that takes us deep into the subconscious mind, where a lot of, all answers live in the space of the subconscious. It's just accessing them is the trick, So in moments where these planets conjunct Centaurus energy, they're giving us, they're opening a door, they're giving us an opportunity to go deep and to see what is underneath there. So we have an access point. The other thing is that this conjunction is happening obviously in Scorpio. Scorpio brings us deep into the underworld, where the truth lies kind of hidden in plain sight. But when you acknowledge it, it becomes light. It transmutes from darkness to light, and it clears the path. And it's at 22 degrees exactly that the conjunction is happening, which we know is like a sacred master number numerologically. So you can see already, and this is just like day one, like how we're starting off on a very strong energy. It's almost like the universe is going, okay, there's going to be very important things to do this week. So we need to get very clear about our path. Let's go to Tuesday. So on Tuesday, we're going to see the moon. Between today and tomorrow, the moon is going from Capricorn into Aquarius. So now emotionally this week, we have a very kind of ground. So we start off like determined and not so like flowy in the emotional space, but more mature in the emotional space, more of like the adult in the situation, like we got to keep it together. And actually the moon right now is making an opposition to Jupiter, which is also magnifying this Saturnian influence on our emotions, where it's like, I think it's helping this T-square Mars is making to the nodes. Saturn, the moon is like, okay, as you figure that out, as you figure, the alignment that you're at right now, and recognize like where it is you need to make adjustments, I'm going to give you the emotional power to like determine yourself, the emotional power to like commit to the path. So that's beautiful. Tomorrow the moon is going to enter into Aquarius and make a conjunction to Pluto. And that's on another stargate, which is actually Altair, and also called the Aquila stargates, or the eagle. It's all about seeing things from a higher perspective. So if you feel really in the deep today, tomorrow the eagle will rise and give you some more perspective to understand, to see things from above, so you get the higher insight, the bigger picture, of everything. So kind of perfect timing. Then we get to Wednesday, and we have one of the most beautiful aspects in astrology. It is a trine from Venus to Jupiter. But the cool thing about it is that there's also a trine to Saturn. And this is a theme we have been seeing because these planets are hanging out in all the water signs. So they're creating grand trines in water. And that's an enhancement of our intuition. So intuition continues to be very strong. And we add this aura of harmony and love and fun and play, which Venus and Jupiter are the two benefics. So when they trine, it's like they bring beauty, they bring love, they enhance the experience of, harmony and also fun and prosperity, literally prosperity, because Venus technically represents money and Jupiter expands everything it touches. So in this case, they're in water. So there's a tuning into truth. There's a tuning into your true feelings about things. There's a tuning into getting clear about what you want, very clear about what you want, and then activating or enhancing that or expanding that energy. So actually, if you really work through in the beginning of the week to have that clarity, by the time Wednesday comes around, you're going to feel the activation of that. You're going to feel like, oh my God, I think it's coming true, or I feel like it growing. Something about it has been activated. So that's really awesome. Then we get to Thursday, and we're going to see on Thursday, Saturn go direct. Yay. So there is a lot of planets retrograde right now, which means that there's a lot of reflection being asked of us. There's a lot of contemplation being asked of us. And now as the planets begin to go direct, the next planet that goes direct, I believe, is Mercury. As the planets begin to go direct, we start to feel that like kind of pressure cooker energy start to like ease up a little bit, And then on Wednesday, we see that the moon is now in the sign of Pisces, and it is right around then. So it is Wednesday into Thursday. So this is we're looking at Thursday, sorry. The moon is now in Pisces, and the sun is now on the next gene key and gate, and this is the 9th gene key and gate. And also, in astrological terms, this is where you also find Antares and Ophiuchus. So the sun literally enters Ophiuchus, and Antares is the heart of the Scorpion. It's one of the 4 royal stars. It's connected to Archangel Uriel. So that is also happening this week. But in terms of the gene keys, the 9th gene key goes from shadow of inertia to gift of determination to city of invincibility. So we transition into this new perspective, which has a lot to do with focus, concentration, and like stillness, to be able to sit still. So there's a part of us that like needs to find meaning and to be able to determine ourselves, and needs to be able to sit in stillness to focus on what it is that we want to create or manifest. And that's the energy that we're going to be under, the influence we're going to be under for the rest of the week in terms of the gene keys. This is also the codon ring of light, which forms a set of 4 alchemical codes whose ultimate role is to determine the blueprint of how our body captures, stores, and transmutes light waves into energy. Through the magnetism of your living aura, you draw in or limit the frequencies of light deep into the cellular structure of your body. If you live your life out of fear, magnetically speaking, you limit the amount of light that touches your DNA. The more open-hearted you are, the more you magnetize higher frequencies into that very same DNA. It is only at certain frequencies that particular codes can be activated. It's interesting that this is where Antares lives, right? And Ophiuchus as well, the 13th sign. This codon ring addresses the central message of the entire gene keys transmission. that you as a human being wield the power to consciously or unconsciously raise or lower the frequency of light entering your body, thereby altering your reality through the medium of your DNA. So literally, like, no joke. This is a very powerful week where we're tuning into our power, and we are also tuning into our ability to focus and concentrate our energy to the direction that we wanted to go. So the other thing that's significant to know is that we have been now for the last Jinki, the 14th, which is where the new moon was at, now the 34, and then moving into the 9th. All of those energies live in the sacral center. So we are in the space of like, when we do, the message is collectively, when you do what you love, and when you focus on the things that you love and not the things that you don't force yourself to do things that you don't love. That's part of that 34th shadow of force. Then the life force energy is gonna flow through without any blockages. It's gonna flow through freely. So one gauge, especially if you're a generator and a manifesting generator, like if you actually have a defined sacral, you're learning and going through these different themes of the sacral center at this time that is reminding you like, hey, you have this life force energy that is meant to be used for something that you love. So if you feel energized, if you feel like you have the energy to do all the things that you want to do, then you are in right alignment with that sacral center. For everyone that doesn't have the sacral center defined in their chart, we're feeling into these themes and we're still playing with that same tune or that same instrument, but it is a matter of us for me, I would say personally, because I don't have a defined sacral center, I am a projector, is also recognizing the spaces within myself where I'm actually listening to my authority and my strategy. Like, am I in alignment? And when I'm in alignment, I will also feel good. And I will also express, my power, my strength, my majesty, and my determination. And this is what we're playing with right now. Strength and determination this week. So isn't that cool? And I love bringing in the perspectives, different perspectives. Okay, let's go now we jump over to the 29th, Saturday, where we're going to see, this is when Mercury goes direct. So very, very soon after Saturn. So this week we get 2 planets going direct. That pressure continues to ease up. The thing that gets a little wild and unpredictable is Venus makes an opposition to Uranus. And we're looking at Saturday now. So Venus opposing Uranus brings in unpredictable things in the realm of relationships, in the realm of finances, in the realm of money. I think that it's just, Uranus keeping us on our toes, reminding us like, hey, maybe your values have changed and you need to like reset yourself. Maybe that now you feel very different about something that before used to be important to you and now is not, or before it wasn't important and now it is. But just expect the unexpected with this energy. Expect things to possibly show up in the space of relationships that's essentially teaching you to stay on your toes. Like, you can't predict everything as much as you want to. Some things are meant to surprise us, and this can definitely bring in a surprise. And then we continue on to the next day, and obviously this still continues the theme of Venus, because on Sunday we end the week with Venus actually entering into Sagittarius. And so the theme of what we value, what's important to us, what we truly desire, what we truly want, changes. So it goes from the energy of Scorpio, which is truth and honesty and like hardcore, like raw, rawness, to now we want to explore a little more. Now we want to feel a little bit more free, and we want to go see something. We want to go have an adventure. We want to go have fun. And that's what theme we are entering into. And that's also the day that the sun officially makes its conjunction to Antares, the star at the heart of the Scorpion, now fully into Ophiuchus energy, Ophiuchus stargates. And this is where like mysteries are uncovered and magical things can happen if we like remember to tune into the mysteries of the universe, and that there's hidden magic in, you know, everywhere you look, but you have to go one layer deeper to understand what that is, to understand how that magic can unfold in your life. But Ophiuchus teaches us it's all about, you know, the hidden secrets of the universe. So this is where Sagittarius season starts getting a little wild and where it's crazy because we're also like in the energy of the holidays, which is like a little crazy. This is every year, but, and speaking of holidays, this Thursday is Thanksgiving in the United States. And on Thursday is actually, it's a good thing because that's the day that Saturn goes direct. So astrologically speaking, that those are the major things that are happening this week. So now let us open up the records and channel a message from the Akashic. So as I tune into the records, you can feel free to close your eyes, find some deep breaths, ground yourself, and open up this portal with me. As I pull cards for the collective, I'll tell you what each card represents, and I recommend that you have your cards with you and you pull cards for yourself. So I pull them for everybody. You pull them for yourself personally. All right. From the deep depths of the cosmic mind, I hear a whisper. This whisper calls us inward towards our essence. A light begins to glimmer at the center of our heart. This is a light of unity, the all-knowing wisdom of the One. Through this door, we open the gates of the Akashic, the magical flower of life. We see our duality. We recognize our sacred trinity. We begin to witness infinite possibilities as we become the observer and the observed. A powerful and luminescent light engulfs our being, and we feel many dimensions all at once. We enter the Akashic records, protected and loved by all star beings that have accessed these portals before. The records are now open. May wisdom flow, may understanding descend, and may we be blessed with the light of love. All right. So the first card that we pull represents our jumping off point. It represents current energy. It represents our, intuition, something that we need to bring our focus and our attention to. So what is that first card? Current energies. Focus of the moment. All right, here we go. Two of Wands. So I see us, this makes sense because of that square, that T-square from Mars to the nodes. We hold, the world in our hands. But there is a bit of it like this is a moment where we need to pay attention. We need to be very clear about what it is that we are wanting to manifest. What's our intention? Anything is possible. So we're in the moment of looking forward and realizing, okay, these are the things that I truly want to manifest. I know I have the world in my hands. How am I going to bring these things into fruition? The wands is creativity. The wands is passion. So we have to bring our passion into it. So this is it. We start the week off with a contemplative energy, but the universe is telling us that we have everything we need to create and to manifest that which we want, to realign ourselves towards, the future. Like, what's the most important thing for you right now as you continue moving forward? What are you letting go of? And what are you bringing in? The second card is the challenge of the week. We get Six of Swords, which is essentially about, leaving behind that which no longer serves. It's swords, which is mind, it's thoughts, it's belief systems, it's whatever hasn't worked in the past. It's very clear now that it hasn't worked and that it's time to go. It's time to move on. But that is the challenge. And also this can be a reminder that you sometimes can feel very alone, but you're not really alone. And if you need to ask for help, ask for help. But we're going from the choppy waters to the smooth waters. Whether you're able to do that or not, that's going to be in your own field. You need to make that choice, but it is time to move on from the craziness to the calmness. The third card is our overall theme. That last card is almost like there's nothing left where we're at right now. So that's why it's the past is the past. You got to let the past be the past. Overall theme. This is interesting. Queen of Cups. So this is a very emotional week. It does make sense because, again, we have been talking about this grand trine in water. The cups have to do with water and emotions, and enhance intuition with the grand trine. So the overall theme is how are you working with this emotional energy? This is a week about mastering our emotions, mastering our intuition, listening deeply. The Queen of Cups, she's the master of emotion, and she pays attention to her feelings. There may be waves this week, and definitely there are, especially with that Six of Swords coming out. But we need to remember our intuition. We need to remember that we know, we know deep down inside the right answer, the right thing to do. And the universe is just bringing this right in front of our faces this week. I feel a lot of contemplative energy, but also we're learning to trust our intuition because it is heightened. So intuition is heightened. That's the main theme. And so when you pay attention, then you can actually focus on the details of everything and the details of manifesting. So what are our spirit guides, angels, and teachers want us to know? This fourth card is message from the ancestors. What's the message? Oh, wow. The High Priestess. Wow, there's a lot to this card. One of the things that's coming through is trust. Everything is perfect just the way it is. You are the magician. And it really just takes knowing the laws of the universe, knowing your power to manifest. This is a lot of water energy coming in, which is interesting because we're technically in a fire sign, a fire season. Sagittarius is mutable fire that expands. It's the wildfire that just freaking can't be stopped. So that brings a lot of passion, but because there's a lot in water, we've got Neptune, Saturn, North Node, also the moon going to pass through Pisces. We've got Jupiter in Cancer. We've got Venus and Mercury in Scorpio. There's a lot of water. So the water is kind of taking center stage energetically. This is about knowing your power. This is about standing in your power, knowing your power. So they're saying stand in your power. know yourself, know thyself this week. And last but not least, what is the animal that is going to guide us through the energy of the week? The mouse. This is actually really funny because earlier today my dogs found a mouse and they were chasing it around the yard, and I was like, stop, leave it alone, because they're gonna kill it if they don't leave it alone. And I'm like not into needing to figure out what to do with a dead mouse, etc., etc. So either way though, it's really funny that actual energy did literally show up for me in my life today. And this is about focusing on the details, because the mouse is detail oriented. It can be small minded, nitpicky, and also like the nervous energy, right? The mouse has an innate desire to tend to the details. It often spends its days fixing, preparing, organizing, and scrutinizing. Unfortunately, a mouse personality doesn't notice when they've gone too far. Interesting. Soon they begin to have a limited and fearful vision of life and try to control every detail. This can be a quite painful experience for both the mouse and those around them. When mouse energy is at play, step back for a moment. So that's the first message. Step back for a moment. It may be time to find a more purposeful project to delve into, one that's worthy of your exacting eye. So basically, this is a lesson about what are you focusing your energy and attention to? That ninth gate and jinki that the sun is moving into halfway through the week is about this energy. It's like if you're not focused on the right thing, you're actually distracting yourself. So where are you distracting yourself? Where are you putting too much energy where it doesn't need to be? How can you refocus your energy to something that actually really matters and could help you, be a little more creative instead of just like nervous energy running around like a chicken with your head cut off? You don't want to do that. So interesting. So what I want to read as a conclusion of this message is the frequency, the message from the 34th Jinki and the 9th Jinki. My gift to you, this is the 34th, from force to strength to majesty. I come to acknowledge your strength and ask you to purify your heart by liberating yourself from the war in your mind. Be careful not to mistake the people around you for your enemies. Wow. Your true enemies are your own misguided thoughts and reactive emotions and everything in you that wrestles you away from the present moment. It's time to stop trying to force things to go a certain way just because your mind tells you so. Stay open to outside influence. Keep turning into the natural world around you. Listen to the flow of life, and you shall tap into it. There is an inexhaustible reserve of inner strength deep in your belly. It is greater than you can possibly imagine. And our last message, it's time to bring your heart back into everything you do, no matter how seemingly mundane. Remember, every act of intention is an act of magic. True determination isn't about force or struggle. It's about grounding yourself into your heart's desire. It's about building natural momentum, one love-filled act at a time. Perhaps at the beginning of an endeavor, when you're dealing with inner reluctance or habitual diversions, you may need to assert some will. But once you start moving, the entire universe, including your body, will rise to meet you, creating a current of support. Ooh, this goes back to this too. A current of support. Sorry, I lost my thought. To which You only need to surrender. Soon you will see the connection between every moment of your life and your deepest dreams. So listen to your heart, prioritize the practical or the beautiful, and let go of the rest. It's that simple. Wow. So you might want to listen to the 34th and the 9th Jinki transmission from the book, because that's a big part of what we're experiencing, along with all of these aspects and transits that are going on this week. So thank you all so much for being here, again, for being a part of this community, this channel. Please join us in our free Akashic 5-day Akashic Healing Chamber, which begins December 8th. All you need to do is create an account, login password to our private community. If you already have a login and password, just go in, find the event into our Mighty Network and under Meditation Hub or under the events tab, and RSVP to the events. So you get a little reminder when they're coming up. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you again for being here. And I hope you have an amazing week. Sat Nam. I'll see you next time.